All right, everybody, welcome to OKR's in GitLab office hours. Darwin, do you want to verbalize the first point? All right, looks like Darwin's not here, and I have a barking dog. Does somebody want to read it for me?
I'm actually here now. Yeah, so I just had a really good experience with Ali where I could create an OKR as an IC, and in Measure What Matters, it talks about half of OKRs should be management authored and half are uh, managed or are authored by the grassroots, so to speak. And I thought it was really cool that I could find that there was other higher OKRs that I could associate with and back um, with something that I was already doing. And of course, it also facilitates the flow of, hey, you know what, I know something I could do for that given one. I'm just wondering if potentially on the roadmap there's been any thought given to this like really awesome free association and support between building different OKRs.
Yeah, really great question. A follow-up question before I answer that. Are you wanting in this desired experience to have your contribution roll up to the progress of that related item or just simply be related?
Um, I think looking at whatever Ali was doing, and if I had to guess, they probably allowed both. So or if I initiate a roll up, then obviously the person who authored the higher OKR would have to accept the roll up because they may or may not want to see that in their work progress. I think though an MVC approach is just the ability to see and associate and not consider OKRs always to be, in fact, if they're done too top down, they end up just being, a new version of MBOs. So any ability to do this collaborative, just, connecting an effort that you might already have in flight or that you could conceive of to do something really quick and helpful to an OKR would be handy. So I would leave it up to MVCing to understand exactly how that relationship should work, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. No, really great question. I think there's two use cases, right? One where you actually want it to be a child of some higher level objective, and you want the progress of your work to feed into the progress of that higher level. That is currently available, but the higher level must be an objective. And I think the way that we've entered OKRs, especially the CEO OKRs, is that there's an objective and then several KRs, and you cannot add children to a KR. So if there's a case where you want to contribute progress, excuse me, you have to add it to a parent objective. For just simple relationships, relating to another OKR or relating to work items like epics and issues, that's definitely on the roadmap, just wasn't part of the MVC.
Awesome to hear that.
Okay. Laurel, do you want to verbalize?
Yes, so mine is about the automated progress measurement. What behaviors do we need to be paying attention to on our end in order to make sure that all of the OKRs are being measured equally? Do we need to be, I guess the question is, what are the formulas that are feeding that progress measurement so that we are using the correct tools and habits in order to feed that calculation? So do we need to be using more checkboxes or tasks or what?
Yeah, good question. So I'm dropping a link to how progress works, just so you could see that in live. So progress is a very simple formula at the moment. Progress is a even average of the children KRs. So I'm going to give an example, and I'm going to drop it in the agenda because this is going to be weird. Actually, I think I have an example. Here we go. No. Okay, so if you only enter, here we go. If we only enter the progress at the child KR level, so I have an example here where I have a parent objective with a child object with 2 children objectives for 2 different departments, engineering and product. And I should probably share my screen, shouldn't I? Because this is going to be weird for the people on the recording. So let me share.
It's true.
Here we go. Somebody is not muted if you don't mind muting, please.
Section. Yeah, like this.
Okay, so in this example, I have a parent, which is neutral. Let's say this is a CEO parent objective, improve user happiness. Under that, I have an engineering objective of some similar flavor, and I have a product objective of some similar flavor. Each of those divisions have their own KRs. All you have to do is enter the progress at the KR level, and all of the objective parents are going to inherit using the calculation. So in this case, this parent is going to get the average of 50% and 50%, which is 50%. In this case, it's going to get the average of 10% and 10%, which is 10%. And then the ultimate parent receives the average of the 2 children, direct children, which is 10% and 50%.
Sorry, Amanda. We were looking at the notes. I couldn't see the issue in the background, so I couldn't see what you were showing. I don't know if anybody else had the same experience.
I was showing the notes. Sorry. In 2E, I dropped an example.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Do you want me to demo that one more time?
I would, and I think people in the recording would like that too.
Yeah, no worries. I am purposefully showing the notes though, because I'm showing a hierarchy. And let me make it a little bigger so you can read it. Okay. So here is, right? Here is this basically the CEO or some ultimate parent objective. You do not have to enter this. This is going to be auto-calculated. Okay. This is a division objective below it, which is engineering, some flavor of that. This is another division objective, let's say product, some flavor of that parent. Each of those divisions have their own KR that add to the progress of this particular flavor. When they enter this is where they want to enter progress, right? All of these are going to be the only place you enter progress. Everywhere else is going to be auto-calculated. Thank you, Alexandra. Everywhere else is going to be auto-calculated, and it's going to take the average of its children. So this neutral parent will be an average of the engineering objective and the product objective. The engineering objective is going to be an average of its children KRs. Does that make sense?
And are those children of that big one on the top that you create, or you just link them?
When they are linked as actual children, now you can nest from a single parent, you can nest 8 layers. So in this example that I've shown, the first layer is the ultimate parent. The second layer is the engineering objective. And that engineering objective goes one more layer to a KR. So in this case, I've only nested 3 layers, but you can nest up to 9 total layers if you want to keep going. And so as long as they're connected by a parent-child relationship, all you have to do is enter the progress in the KRs and everything rolls up automatically. And if anybody has specific examples that you'd like to discuss offline, I'm happy to stand up Zooms on one-on-one basis as well. Just ping me in your objectives. Laurel, did that answer the question?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Anything else on that topic before we go to number 3? All right, Darwin.
Yeah, I just I played a lot with Ali to try to I don't know if I'm saying it right, but with the product to try and help be ready for my team to help them translate how to do different kinds of logical tasks. And in the end, I found that projects were much more useful to me because they just acted more like a project. So I'm just wondering if there's either on the roadmap or already the ability to associate a non-KR artifact like an epic or an issue to show the progress on actual work flow into the KR for the objective.
Yeah, and so when you're using the word project here, you don't mean like a GitLab project or group. You mean like some piece of work or feature that you're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using the nomenclature of Alia itself. So it
Got
was
it.
like, yeah.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. This is something that will be coming. So being able to attach objectives or OKRs in general to the work output is something that is on the roadmap. Whether that work output will drive the progress is still TBD, because it doesn't always have a one-to-one relationship. You know, you do the thing that doesn't necessarily move the needle. You have to go measure and see if the needle's been moved. Did user happiness increase because I shipped this project? Yes, no. So we will do that relationship to the work item so you can easily follow and see what the status is of the related work items, but I don't know how it will affect progress. So
Yeah, and
TBD on that.
the other tool let you do it either way. You could link it or just say, no, I don't want to link it. I'll manual updated the OK or KR. And so, yeah, just delighted to hear that it's on the roadmap. However, the relationships end up working out.
Cool. All right, you have number 4 as well.
Yeah, and so it was also useful that OKRs could flow down when it made sense. So when people wanted to take the KR of a higher level objective and make it their objective, I believe even in the user interface, it would reflect it that way. I'm wondering if there's a comparable concept that is roadmapped so that you can basically take KRs of a higher level as an objective of your level.
Yeah, from a feature perspective, that doesn't exist yet. I'm just dropping a link. From a process perspective, we're following this concept of explicit alignment, and I've dropped a link to the handbook that talks about the process, but you're basically replicating the higher level KR as your parent objective. So you're creating kind of a duplicate, and then you can go from there. The problem is the progress is not going to roll up to that parent KR. So from a feature perspective, it's definitely something that we need to continue to look into. Okay. Eric, number 5.
Looks like Marcin answered, but I can verbalize. Yeah, so my question was, is this available to all GitLab.com projects today? And I didn't see it in one of the projects I managed. But Marcin.
Yep, that's correct, Marcin. Thank you for that. It's only enabled in the GitLab OKRs project, specifically because it's an internal dog fooding event at the moment, and it's limited. It only works within a single project. That you can't span projects and collaborate together just yet. On the roadmap, we are looking to put this at the group level so that it does become more accessible across organizations, and that will be something that we ship before it becomes generally available. Okay, Brian, number 6.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for this opportunity. Just wanted to ask, what data from this pilot effort are most useful to you and your team? Obviously we're doing this to get you some data to continue to iterate on the feature. So I just want to make sure I understand, as we use the tool and as we use the feature in our dog fooding efforts, how do we ensure that we get you the data that you need? And what, can we be more deliberate about making sure you get it? I know that I understand, for example, there's a feedback issue that we can leave feedback in. That's no problem. But I don't know if there are any other specific instructions for using the tool. For example, like always use the OKR label. If you don't use it, we won't be able to see blah, 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 like guidance like that, just to make sure that our dog fooding is as effective as it can be for you all?
That's I love this question. Thank you. So from a best practices perspective, how to make the most of this MVC, I would say labels are super important. Right now, we don't have a lot of visibility in terms of like, we don't have a dashboard to see what's going on. Your managers can't see, progress in an easy to find way that's fed up for them. So they have to go to the filtered list, to the issues list and filter it. And so labels are going to be the thing that's really going to allow them to find the content. So labels are important. Assignees, make sure that you have the appropriate assignees. I will say I'm seeing a lot of assignees, a lot of OKRs with multiple assignees, and that's against handbook guidance. So maybe think about why you're doing that. The handbook says if you have multiple assignees, maybe it needs to be broken down, but that's a process thing. And the other thing I'm seeing is missing milestones on objectives. So make sure you're adding your milestones. The milestone at the objective level is simply the time box for that OKR. And so for this round, it's FY24-Q1. So it's Q1. So make sure you're doing that. I think that's going to set you up for success from a reporting perspective. Maybe also I might add, because we don't have that related functionality yet, add related issues to your description so that folks who are not as intimate with your OKR as you are can find the related work easily. So that's from a best practices. From a feedback and how you can help kind of the general availability, I linked the feedback issue, but also we really need to know, there's a lot of features, right? Like it's a big green space at the moment. So helping us refine what's going to be bring the most value, helping us understand, this feature would be great because will be really, really valuable, because we're going to have to prioritize where we put our capacity and what we focus on first. That's pretty long-winded. I don't know. What was that?
No, I mean, it should be long-winded. It's a big project and you've got a lot of stuff that you're tracking. So I expected it to be. So thank you. And
Awesome.
Hopefully, we've been able to capture all that in the notes and we'll get you what you need. Thank you. Thanks for all your work on this.
Thanks, Brian. Anything else? Well, I'll take this moment while we're just checking to see if there's anything else to thank everybody. I've been seeing a lot of activity. I think there's over 300 OKRs entered just as of this morning. And you've all been really great at jumping in and rolling with what we've released. So I appreciate you, and I do appreciate the feedback. No feedback is bad. So do add it, even if you think that maybe it just applies to you. It probably doesn't, so please add it. I want to thank the team that worked on this effort. This effort was across 3 different teams, 2 groups in the plan stage, and we have a SEG, a single engineer group, Ablash, working on this as well, who will be driving this effort forward. But to get this out in literally like a milestone and a half is seriously like moving a mountain, and they did an amazing job. So I've been doing a lot of the communicating, but there is a ton of people who actually did the work, which is a lot harder than doing the communicating, that I want to thank for all their efforts. All right, any questions moving forward, please? There is an office hours later today as well, but there is a Slack channel. I'll drop the link to the Slack channel if it isn't already here. Oh, it is. It's in the top in resources. The feedback issue, and you can always mention me on your objective or KR if you need help with a very specific use case. I'm here to help you for the next 30 days, so feel free to bring me in when you need it. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.